Welcome back, and thank you for tuning in to Naijha Speaks. I'm Naijha Wright Brown, contributing for Jane and Chain News, co-owner of the Land of Kush Vegan Soul Bistro in Baltimore, and executive director of the Black Veg Society of Maryland. Today, we are talking about Brotha Vegans. We have three powerful guests joining us. They are very well accomplished individuals, brothers, known for very impactful projects and platforms, and they are all vegan. So that answers that question, whether they're plant-based or vegan. Joining me now is Omowale Adewale, Kimatni Rawlings, and Dr. Kevin Jenkins. Come on, let's go. How are we doing today, gentlemen?
I'm amazing.
What's up? I'm good. All right.
Thank you
I get to see
for
them.
joining
I couldn't see y'all brothers.
Thank you for joining us.
Absolutely.
So tell me, I want each of you to introduce yourself, and we'll start with Omowale. Tell me I know you personally, but for the viewers that don't know you, please tell us about yourself.
So I've been doing some organizing for about 20 years. Organizing, whether it be artists, activists, kind of came in about 2001, doing a lot of that work. Some pretext before that worked with Uhuru Movement. A lot of Black liberation organizations. I'm 10 years working with Malcolm X Grassroots Movement, founder of Black VegFest, fight champion. So just, and I'll go to the brothers.
I love Black VegFest. You know, it's all about Black VegFest. Kimatni, let's tell us about yourself.
Kimatni Rawlings, founder of Fit Fathers. You know, our goal is to uplift dads and father figures through health, wellness, and with a focus on nutrition. Of course, fitness is one of our daily mottos, but we want to make sure that our brothers are well breasted of the benefits of an overall healthy lifestyle. Continue cooking more, making more decisions in the household on what the kids are eating. I'm a publisher by trade. I run a few websites and author and poet, and my goal is feeding the community with information that I ascertained throughout my travels, my experiences, and my tutelage with various other outliers in the field. So I run fitfathers.com. We create various campaigns to make sure that people are well breasted, well educated, and well instilled with the tools needed for a positive lifestyle change.
And I've been to the Fit Fathers Father's Day event, and it's incredible. And we'll talk about how things have been going later on in the show. Dr. Kevin Jenkins, how are we doing?
I'm doing good, doing amazing. Thank you so much, Naijha, for having us on. I am Dr. Kevin Jenkins, known on Instagram as the Vegan Born, just like Jason Bourne, Bourne. I'm an ordained Seventh-day Adventist minister. We are the longest living Black people on the United States because of our adherence to a plant-based diet.
Woo! Thank you for telling them. Let them know. Preach, doctor.
And plus, I'm a certified vegan life coach and educator, a certification in plant-based nutrition. And also, I am a personal protection specialist. That's another word for bodyguard. I do VIP details. The latest one was during the election.
Wow, really?
Yeah, during the election and the day before the Capitol riots. Some VIPs need protection. And I got to give a shout out to the company that kind of outsourced me. Now it's slipping my name. Elijah Shaw. He's the president of that Icon EP. That's on Instagram. And
what? Awesome. I got to hire you sometime. Welcome. Well, we're here for this. If no one knows, let me bring this up. We want to know what or who is a Brotha Vegan. So that's why I have invited all of these brothers, and I know there's more contributors, but we're going to speak with you today. And let's get started. Omowale, what led to the inspiration behind authoring Brotha Vegan?
Well, I have to say that I'm a huge admirer of the work Sistah Vegan. Dr.
Yes.
A. Breeze Harper put out Sistah Vegan in 11 years ago.
I remember.
And so 2010, when that book came out, it resonated with so many sisters. It resonated also with the Black community. But I think that it probably needed a lot more promotion, as well. So, and then not even in 2010, but a little later, I'm introduced to the book by Sistah, and I look through it. I'm like, this is, it's pretty, incredible and important. It definitely needs to, kind of dawned on me that it definitely needed to have a complement, which will be, a book specific to, to brothers. And
Absolutely.
now we think about it, we also, the non-binary. So in any case, that was in my thought. My thought said at that particular time. Fast forward to 2018, and I get tapped, to actually edit this book, and it really was just to focus and highlight brothers who are vegan, and I think that really it really went home for a lot of folks, because when we did Black VegFest, you're really talking, like, first off, Black folks already been doing veganism. We'll call it ITAL,
Yes.
Rastafarianism.
Thank you.
Based there. 30-something years ago. Actually, I had the introduction to ITAL, it being just plant-based food, right? And the idea was ITAL and Rastafarianism, is not to touch the dead. You know what I mean? And definitely not to consume it. So
thank you.
So I had those lessons. I went through those lessons.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when you're teaching young folks, it's gonna hit them later. You don't have to like preach. And so I get this lesson all the time, like over and over and over, and it really set in. So but it's gonna happen with it happens with me even in this age. I'm still getting gems, that I've gotten. So the Black community have been feeding me this, and this is to give people some, when you read my essay in the book, this is in the 80s, where International African Arts Festival, the International Arts Festival is 50 years long in Brooklyn, right? Shout out to where I'm born and raised. That's where I had vegan food for the first time. Right. And so it was some Rastas who gave me some ITAL food. Right. And so they didn't push it like they push it now. And we could talk about that, had that conversation.
Yeah, we will, because we know.
I'm not even saying right now, but I mean the overall Black community,
right,
need to have that conversation, as well. We don't have that enough. We kind of just, centered. But, fast forward, Black VegFest, I'm kind of I don't like to be passive about certain issues. I want to be real specific. I'm unapologetically Black, but I'm also unapologetically Omowale. I'm a type of person, I'm going to tell you exactly what's going on. We doing self-determination. I knew it was going to be difficult to even do a Black VegFest in New York City. People feel like it's really liberal. It's not that liberal of, space. And so it was a lot of, work. But anyway, it resonated with a lot of people. And the same way, and the same concept, and the understanding was there that Brotha Vegan would resonate with Black men and with the entire Black community. Be straightforward. Let people know what's going on with these particular issues. Be clear with folks, like what we need when we know the veganism that's out there is generally white, and it protects white folks very much. So when they coming out introducing new foods, they don't say things like that's specific to humans. But when we did Black VegFest, they were like, oh, we were decentering the animals. We weren't decentering the animals. We were bringing people to the movement.
Right.
Right. And so
because that's
what
our
Brotha
culture.
Vegan does.
We were doing things to promote our culture, and we'll get into that conversation in a bit. So we can talk about more of the contributors that were selected, because we know why Brotha Vegan it was needed. You answered that. You needed a companion to Sistah Vegan. How did you go about contributors? Because we have Kimatni and Kevin, Dr. Jenkins here, and I know you have others. How were they selected, and how many were selected for this book?
So we had put the call out, right? So we wanted to put a call out, to folks. One of the things is like, I know I'm gonna be unapologetically Black. I'm gonna talk about particular issues, but I'm never gonna talk about all the issues. I don't think anybody can talk about all the issues, right? So I want to be real clear about that. And some people don't have the expertise to even talk about all the issues. Even if I talk about, I bring some versatility to it, I'm still not going to be able to articulate every single thing that's happened with the Black community. So we needed a Kimatni. We needed, Kevin Jenkins. We needed these folks to actually, be a part of the book and approach it from different angles. And that was important. And that's pretty much one of the reasons why, I'm tapped to do that, is that I'm going to be objective, with the situation. I'm also going to bring people in. I'm not going to do an exclusive thing. Now, there are a lot of folks that we were looking to actually bring on the piece, as well. So they were chosen based on, like if it actually made, some of the pieces didn't make it. Some of the pieces didn't make it because they didn't make their particular point, How
many pieces did you receive? How many pieces did you receive in total?
We received, dozens of pieces.
Okay.
We received dozens of pieces. If they weren't, they didn't seem like they were professional, text. Even though we knew we were going to have editors, but if they didn't have a full out thought, then it was going to be difficult to have them in the book. And at the end of the day, like I was going to make that decision.
Okay.
It needed to have somebody who was going to make that decision. And it needed to be a brother, obviously. That would make
absolutely.
That's really what makes Brotha Vegan.
Absolutely.
It couldn't be the white folks and the publishers. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. But let's bring them on so we can talk about some of the major issues that are being addressed in Brotha Vegan, and what contributions Dr. Jenkins and Kimatni have made to the book. Okay. So we got Omowale's reason for authoring this book, how he went about getting the contributors and the selection process. Now we have two of the somewhat number of contributors. Let's talk about the issues that are being addressed in this book. You're talking about masculinity, sexuality, race, diet, health, fatherhood, social justice, animal rights, and the environment. So let's talk on the masculinity piece from a group perspective, your perspectives, and what you contributed to the book on that topic. Let's talk about that. Dr.
Well, my section is why Black men must go vegan.
Okay, why? Because men usually think this is a feminine thing. And I was going to say that, right? So, and you make a good point about Seventh-day Adventists and plant-based, because a lot of times folks don't think we were here pushing this movement because we didn't put money and all this stuff behind it. But let's talk about that, because I'm always talking about, we've been here. Tracy McCurdy put out a African-American vegan starter guide that gives the timeline, and it starts with the Seventh-day Adventists, right?
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Let's go.
Since the inception of the denominations, 1863, we have been recommending, it's not mandatory, but we recommend that people go plant-based, go vegetarian or vegan. And Dan Buettner has written the 5 blue zones, I believe, that book. And one of the blue zones is in a place called Loma Linda, California. And that is where a lot of Seventh-day Adventists live. And these are individuals who live beyond 100, and they don't have any cognitive problems. They're still active, they're driving, etc. And then there's a place where the only HBCU, Seventh-day Adventist College, is, where I graduated, Oakwood University in Huntsville, Alabama. And in that place, where there's a lot of Black Seventh-day Adventists, they live longer than the average Black person because of the adherence of now in a plant-based diet, but not smoking and not, minimalization of alcohol or none whatsoever. My contribution, and I want to just thank Omowale for accepting that, and that's a friendship that I've had with him since 2015, when I made a transition to be a vegan. I was a vegetarian first for many, many years. I don't mind saying that I'm the OG in this group right now, because July 28th, my birthday, I'll be 66 years strong.
Blessings.
I've been like
some men don't reach that age because of health and all type of issues. So that's a blessing.
Absolutely, yeah. I started my journey at 19 years old when I decided to make a transition to stop eating meat based on a coworker, inspired me. But some of the reasons I give for Black men must go vegan is, first of all, I demythologize the myth that you're not getting protein when you eat plants. Protein is in everything.
Right.
The problem with America is that Americans don't get enough fiber. And sometimes I have to teach classes in older adult centers. And I remember one of this brother came to me when I taught a class on plant-based living, and he said, hey, Doc, man, I haven't had a bowel movement for a week. Brother,
Jesus.
first of all, go to your personal physician. And secondly, you need to shop more in the first aisle of the supermarket. So we took the folks down and taught them how to shop in the first aisle, to increase your fiber. So that's the first thing. Secondly, the issue of passion. I call it passion, where a lot of men, let's make it plain right now, and I'm talking about men who are half my age having ED, which is erectile dysfunction.
That's sad.
That is a sign of heart disease. That's because blood not flowing. And heart disease kills more people than COVID. COVID's been killing like 500,000, I think, so far.
Yes.
And all due respect for those who are mourning the loss of loved ones, but 600,000 Americans annually die of heart disease. And
wow.
Of that number are African Americans.
Wow.
There's no vaccine for that. There is a lifestyle change where you need to get up eating animals that's clogging up your system, and and get your heart going and exercise. And that's another reason. Then I talk about the natural instinct for a man to be a protector. And when you become a vegan, you are a protector of the environment and animals. So it's not just having a diet, but it's also, I'm an ethical vegan. So I don't wear anything that's connected with any killing of an animal. And it's very easy. I got in my closet right now this 2 jackets that are vegan leather, and you couldn't tell the difference.
I just bought my husband one during this winter, and he rocks that jacket with pride. It looks good. It's like an aviator type of style jacket, and he loves it, And we can go on and on. There's plenty of faux leather, whatever. There's no excuse to wear animal products at all, and I appreciate you saying that, Dr. Jenkins. I want to get some information from Kimatni on this topic of masculinity and contribution in the book, because again, I'm sure you hear it as a fit father that vegan is not for men. It's this sissy type of thing, right?
Right.
Absolutely. And I come at it from an athletic perspective. Shout out Omo to Itals Vital. When I go to Jamaica, that's my first stop. My Jamaican uncle picks me up and we go straight to the Ital spot. He already knows what the plan is.
Right.
But I played football at Georgia Tech, and I'm from Camden, New Jersey. So a very deprived city in terms of resources, nutrition, mental strength. Most of the majority of the city is strung out. No opportunity. So everyone utilizes either drugs or sports to try to get out, and even the athletes can't get out because they're still trapped into the system. But in fact, everybody in Camden was athletic. So when I made my switch, after leading a career of football and athletics, one of the prominent lines of information I was trying to teach, my boys and my brothers was that, you don't lose any inertia, any strength, any mobility, any masculinity, when you're eating plants. We've been eating plants since day one. It's just not, you know, here in American society, you know, the fact of how meat and dairy, you know, dominated the narrative, you know, and became a tool for you know, gaining profits and things of that nature. You know, people were just miseducated, you know. So, you know, now I utilize, you know, my athletics to show that, like Kevin said, every piece of food has an amino acid in it. We don't have to go specifically looking for protein because it's in the building block of all foods, you know, no matter if it's vegetables, fruits, or fats. So, you know, my goal is to let them know that, hey, you know, it's not about not being cool. It's about, you know, gaining the nutritional freedom so we continue being who we are, since we do have a limited lifespan because of chronic disease, whether it's diabetes, heart disease, hypertension, et cetera, you know, prostate cancer. The Black man falls at the bottom of the totem pole when it comes to life expectancy.
Right.
Because of the lifestyle choices that we make, that we think, you know, are so cool and so elevating, when in fact they're debilitating. I have a good friend in the hip hop community, Peace Stu, and he's always telling me, Kay, how can we bring your platform into my platform, Hip Hop Fathers, you know, so we can increase the lifespan of these rappers, because they're dying off, man, because they think it's cool to rap about all the things that are chronic to our lifestyle.
Right. I'm glad you said that, because I had Dr. Nolan on with Hip Hop Vegan. So yeah, it's important.
So that's why I created Fit Fathers, to showcase that you can still be who you are. And the center point of your domain, you know, comes first with education and the ability and the power to give your seeds the knowledge and the strength to make life enhancing decisions while they're young, so they don't have to reprogram like I did when I was 35. They already have the tools, the knowledge, the info, the directive, you know, the resources to make sure that they enhance their bodies with the proper tools needed, you know, that can limit all of these chronic diseases. You know, like Kevin said, fiber, only 3% of Americans meet the RDA for fiber, and they don't realize fiber's role, how it pushes out cholesterol, you know, how it cleans the colon like a broom, and sweeps out anything stuck on the diverticuli that's, you know, lining the intestines. You know, literally, I try to eat, you know, 5 to 7 pieces of vegetables and fruit daily, you know, because my goal is fiber, you know, and I don't mind, you know, letting people know, you know, releasing twice a day is a beautiful thing.
Right. 3 times a day. I know my husband is always on that toilet morning, afternoon, and I'll be like, okay.
Literally, if you're backed up, you know, then, you know, acid is seeking into your system, because our bodies weren't designed to eat meat like carnivores. You know, we don't create our own vitamin C. You know, we don't have short digestive systems like cats or prey and discard of meat within 24 hours. You know, we don't have fangs. And when you try to explain these things, people look at you like you're a vampire, like you're crazy. But this is the basic principles of health. And we gotta delve into the knowledge of that, our own body, as opposed to celebrating everything else. You know, the cars, the jewelry, the lifestyle, you know what I'm saying? So I utilize that because I used to be a part of that. You know, I used to, you know, party hard, drink 5 to 7 Long Islands a night, because, you know, I thought that was, you know, evolution.
That's the culture and the environment. We have Greg Hunter. Thank you. He's from First Data now. He got the book, and he's really enjoying it, and that's what we want. So this is a gentleman, like what we say, he's a brother vegan at this point, because he has the book and he's enjoying it and he's learning stuff. We appreciate you purchasing that book, Greg. We're going to get into the sexuality piece, race, and all of that. And please, whatever your topic of interest is that you want to talk passionately about of these topics or subjects that you're focusing on in this book, please bring them up. I want to get to this question from Michelle about what's decentering the animal. So that, I believe, was for Omowale, because you talked about it during the Black. Let's answer that question, because I think it's a good question to answer.
Definitely would love to answer that. So I was speaking in terms of the idea that we were decentering animals by creating Black VegFest, or even say Brotha Vegan. But reality is, what we're doing is we're making an intersection, right? So it's an easy intersection into veganism to also consider that nutrition is an issue within the Black community. Right?
Nutrition first. That's what we're saying, right? Because a lot of folks don't understand the culture and what we're dealing with. It's not about, and I'm gonna let you say what you have to say, because I have this issue all the time, especially on my show, of us not saying we're doing things for the animals. We don't have to say anything. If we're not eating animals, it is not negatively impacting animals. Now, if you want to say, but that's great. But the fact that we're not eating, we're not consuming, not wearing, or whatever, you should comprehend that as we are not harming animals. So this thing about we have to say things a certain way, it really teased me off, because I don't have to say anything a certain way. I'm Naijha, just like Omowale say he's Omowale before, unapologetically anything. So as long as we're not consuming animals, and we're not abusing animals and all of this stuff, we can go into the community talking about nutrition. What is the problem? Go ahead, Omowale.
So that's very true. But my entire point is that we can talk about anything, right? Because folks who are dealing. So I've worked in, and you don't necessarily have to actually have worked in for an elected official and be handling constituent issues. I've seen people come in with and have 7, 8, 9 kids, right, and need and about to be evicted. I've seen the most difficult situations in the poorest congressional district in the Bronx, right?
Where I'm from, born and raised.
You know, so you're seeing a lot of these different issues. So people, you can't come to them.
I know what he's talking about.
You know, just in talking about, you know, veganism, because they might not get that concept. The same thing, you know, if you're talking to them about something about mechanical engineering, we know we might need mechanical engineering in a lot of different things. We know, but if you go with people's heads and you don't take them with you and at least bring them in and meet them at their point of unity, their point of understanding, you're going to lose them. And it's just bad strategy. So I'm a strategist, you know what I mean? As a fighter, I'm always thinking strategy.
Right.
As somebody who works with people who organize, I'm always thinking strategy. I'm thinking, you know, how do I include people? I don't want to exclude folks, you know what I'm saying? Unless I need to exclude folks, right? And I'm not going to do it based off of like my emotion. So when we talk about when we came out with Black VegFest, nobody was saying nobody was calling it like that same year. Somebody came out with Japanese VegFest, you know what I'm saying? And then now there's like all these other Black VegFests around,
right?
You know what I mean? That started to come out. People started like Canada, they in UK, they down south, they're in California, but they coming with a different reason. That's a whole different thing. They coming to try to make money because they marketing blackness. I want to say that, and I got to say that in every single interview I'm doing, because I don't do it for that. And that's why I'm glad they chose me to edit that, because I want to bring folks in, but I'm doing it because, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I'm thinking Black liberation. And I'm like, animals can get free too. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody can get free. We can create this egalitarian system that we have. So it doesn't decenter animals. You know what I mean? It's the idea when white folks see it, they're decentering it. It says decentering animals, but really that's a ploy for white supremacy. And I'm going to explain that for folks and unpack that, why that is. Because normally, like, look who's getting money off this? Beyond Me. And they cool because, you know what I'm saying, they throw out some, you know what I'm saying, some funds and, you know what I mean, it helped us do some work last year. And we needed some work in the Black community and all these other stuff. But look how many food products have come out. And Follow Your Heart too. And that's one of the, you know, I love Follow Your Heart, you know what I'm saying? But all these different products that we pushing out there and all that, nobody says that's decentering animals.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Nobody ever says that. Nobody says that they're bringing in corporations. You know what I'm saying? They only say that it's like saying all lives matter, basically, when you come out with Black VegFest. It's just a way to kind of like stop you, you know what I mean? And keep it white. Because that's really, and you got to keep banging on that. You can't stop banging that because you're getting critiqued. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
and the fact that
it says the wrong answer because you want the wrong answer. That's cognitive
my
dissonance.
issue is the word black bothers people. We have a black veg society. When you take all the colors, I don't care, you're gonna get black. So just stop the nonsense with this uncomfortableness around the word black. Okay. Let's just get over it. Folks been, disrespecting us for centuries. Let's move on, understand why these societies and these projects and these platforms are needed, and let's keep it moving, because we got a lot of work to do. And if you want us to work with the community, this is the way it has to be done. Okay, not through you, through us. Sexuality, race, diet, whatever. What topics do we want to talk about that are an impactful discussion in the book Brotha Vegan? Who wants to take this?
One of the things that you guys discussed that makes it very impactful for us to go vegan is that you live long enough when you become a vegan to continue to annoy those who are adherents of white supremacy.
Right. Help the wealth. You can have all this money and all this contribution or whatever, but if you're not healthy, consuming the right things for your mind, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
you're not going to be able to live long enough to do this.
Yes, because you can continue to function in a wonderful, powerful way. As a guy who's in his 60s, of course, I don't look like it. If I shave this beard off, I get ID when I get the senior discount on the train. I always get ID'd on that. Well, I have so much energy, and I put fitness with that. I'm with these gentlemen here because they're physical fitness guys. Listen, I was telling someone the other day, one of the worst things that you can see on a man is what I call the kangaroo pouch. And the kangaroo pouch is the stomach that's just a little big there, because
right, which is a challenge for some men, and that's all centered around diet.
It's around.
Am I
diet,
right?
stress.
Yeah, and you can be vegan. It could be around diet, because vegan doesn't mean healthy. Can we talk about that? Because you're talking about health in the book, Diet and Health. Just because you're vegan doesn't mean healthy. Can we talk about that?
You got to exercise too. You just can't just eat. You have to exercise. You got to do some cardio, calisthenics or something. But you have to do something like that. And
you got to eat the right things. Like, come on, you're clean eating. You're a clean eater, right? You talk about clean. Now,
for example, yesterday, a friend of mine had tagged me on a product, another frozen hamburger product, and he's Caucasian, and he was elated and jubilated, like, "Hey, Kay, did you see this?" He was all excited. "Have you tried this?" And I was like, "Actually, I haven't." And I'm far gone from that stage. When I first turned vegan, plant-based, I consumed, those products that's filled with, 20, 30 ingredients and a lot of GMO, binding ingredients. So I was like, I focus on more whole food ingredients. So that's a challenge in itself, when people first go vegan. And, I'm trying to break down to them, eat legumes, whole foods, beans. Like, I've traveled the world. And one of the things in my experience I try to do in my writings when I give back to my readers, whether it's in Ethiopia or Japan, is to break down the staple food of that location. For example, the Japanese sweet potato, which is purple and has far more antioxidants, and which is known to be the reason of their high level of centurions and lack of Alzheimer's, or Ethiopia and the injera bread made from teff.
Yes, I love that.
Break down that, these are some of the foods that we're not accustomed to. They're not in our psyche. They're not in our vocab, but we have to start introducing them into our plant-based cooking.
Yes.
And so where, whether it's quinoa or buckwheat or millet, not just brown rice, but there's a lot of other whole grains out there.
Right.
That's full of fiber, tastes good when you
protein. Quinoa is full with protein. A lot of people don't know that.
And diversifies your choices, because a lot of people say, "Hey, I ran out of ideas to cook," because they're recycling the same things over and over. And a lot of time it's those frozen foods, vegan foods that they're buying that people are making a lot of money off. No disrespect, to those that have a business idea, but I didn't get into it for that. So yeah, you can be vegan and you can eat a lot of junk vegan food and you can still be unhealthy.
Right.
So that's what we try to break down. Turn around, read that package, look at the ingredients, and see if it has more than 400 milligrams of sodium in it. So
I'm glad you brought that up. I know people struggle. Michelle says she struggles. She's always struggled even before she stopped eating animals. I know there are people that feel when we use the term clean eating that we're being derogatory toward those that are not eating supposedly clean. They feel that we're telling them that they're disgusting eaters. What are your thoughts about that? And also answering the struggle question for Michelle, and any of you can chime in with that with some ideas.
Well, I want to take that.
Degree to read it, when you read the package, if you need a chemistry degree to decipher stuff, don't eat it.
My thing is, so like this development in different stages. People are going to intersect it at different parts in their life. 20 years I was vegetarian. Nowadays, somebody be like, what you doing and why you doing this and so on and so forth, and you would get so much criticism, right? 20 years. Now, they might excuse me because when I started being vegan, I was, 15, right? And I had a heart disease, and just happened to have a conversation with my older brother, and he was like, we started talking about vegetarianism. We had already been going out. My mom, this is when I was living in Florida at the time, and my brother was still in New York. And so we had that conversation, and you tell people that you diagnosed with heart disease, you got hypertension at 15, it's pretty alarming, and you're an athlete. My point is, like, people are not going to intersect it the same way. You know what I mean? And what I found is, like, working with young people, you're going to badger them to the point where they just going to be like, F that. And they're going to go the wrong direction. Right. And that happens a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have folks who've done that. Like, I've done I've done a lot. You know what I'm saying? Growing up. When you're in Brooklyn, you do a little bit of everything. If you get on the train, like some of the things I was doing on the train, my parents didn't even know about. You know what I mean? Man, we were having weapons since we were like early teens. You know what I'm saying? So it's just eating trash, like just garbage on a consistent basis. And my point is just like, you got to kind of bring people in. You got to kind of like pick like smart battles. Like I'm battling a lot with the vegan community. You know what I'm saying? Folks who want to be Dr. Sabians, like that worked for you. Like, don't get it mistaken. Like that worked for you. You can't come out and start focusing. And there be people that just came vegan for like 1 year, right? Or they started being vegan for like 6 months. You know what I'm saying? But my whole thing is when like being an organizer, like you try to use the best practices to bring people into the stuff. So you gotta be strategic. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be excellent strategic. You gotta do, you know what I mean? Like they're not gonna hit it the same way you're gonna hit it.
Right.
And
people have to be psychologically there. They got to be psychologically ready through the stages, because I know the stages I went through in cutting out things because of high cholesterol, and it took me 3 years to fully transition. And I want to say something about that vegetarianism. When we opened up Land and Kush in 2010, well, we were at festivals before that, years before that. We were promoting vegetarian cuisine from a pure vegetarian standpoint, and that still exists. There was no eggs, there was no dairy, there was no honey. So people bashing vegetarian, I still respect the word, because if there was no vegetarian, there would be no vegan, because that's where it was birthed. Kimatni, you were going to say something.
Yeah, actually, my dad was vegetarian back in the early 80s, and they were actually vegans, but they didn't call it that. They call it vegetarianism.
Yeah.
But the same thing as now. But yeah, when I first started out, for those who are having challenges with, plant-based diets and who may be comfortable with some of those comfort foods, it's going to take time to re-educate yourself, because you got to unprogram everything that you learned about the system since day one. We was always told, that eggs and the yolk particularly was healthy for us,
I know. And then I got high cholesterol. Go ahead.
12 milligrams of cholesterol in that thing. And we eat
70% to be exact.
You scramble eggs, you put in 2 and 3 at a time. So,
with cheese, with cheddar cheese and all that. Now it's 100%.
So yeah,
I know.
It's like, so what I tell people is like every for your age, every day that you learn something negative, you gotta you gotta compensate with a day of something new and life enhancing. Because the people ask me now, like in 10 years into veganism, why are you still going so strong like this? And I'm like, yo, the mind is so powerful. I could still have the ability to go backwards, you know what I'm saying, if I'm redirected the wrong way,
Right.
So every day I have to reinforce, my spirit, my mental and my physique, with positivity and surround myself around other like minds. So that's why when I travel, I seek out, vegetarianism and veganism and plant-based individuals. So I'm always around that, so individuals who are struggling, they have to do the same thing. I lost a whole group of friends when I turned plant-based because they felt like I was judging them, even though I was quiet about everything, but my presence there while they're eating, pork.
Intimidation. You're
And
intimidated.
I'm like, yo, let me get that veggie roll. And they looking at me, and I'm not, I don't have no judgment against what they're doing, but they
right.
And they stopped inviting me to the boys' trips, the brothers' trips, the trips I created.
Right.
So I had to find a whole new subset of friends and individuals who are living the lifestyle I do. And that's where you come across people like Jenkins, like Omo, you know what I'm saying? Like yourself. And it feels good because you can create that constellation of new life enhancing experiences to keep you going. So for those people struggling, don't give up, just go at it at your own pace. Because when we all turn vegan, we all crazy. Like I was like, go vegan or die, I know people was tired of me and I had to stop myself and pull myself out of it and stop battling with other vegans.
Right.
And, oh, tofu is bad. No, I eat tofu. Like, look, we're all vegans. Let's just chill.
Right. Exactly. I'm loving this discussion. We're going to be going on for a little while because we got a lot to talk about. What else do we want to touch on with these topics, but with Brotha Vegan? Let me bring up that book again and talk about where folks can get it, because we can really get deep into these conversations. So there you have it, Brotha Vegan, Black Men Speak on Food, Identity, Health, and Society by Omowale Adewale and his host of contributors. And you can definitely find this book on Lantern Publishing. You can go to their website, and I'll post that in the comments. You can get it at Barnes & Noble, IndieBound, Bookshop, and on Amazon. So you can search Amazon. Also, the Black Vegetarian Society of Maryland is a nonprofit. We do have an Amazon Smile. So if you're on Amazon, we have added Brotha Vegan to our collection of books to purchase through Amazon Smile. So if you want a little penny to go back to Black Vegetarian Society, you can purchase it from there. So I'll put the link up soon. Definitely shout out to all the sponsors of Naijha Speaks and Black Veg, A Welfare World, Veg Fund, Eat the Change, Women Funders in Animal Rights, Mercy for Animals, nutritionfacts.org, collectively, and supporters just like you that are listening in. We definitely appreciate your support. What else do we want to touch on? Go ahead.
I want to bring up some of the other folks that's in the book.
Yes, please.
It's important for folks to kind of know like who else is in the book, and the reasons why they're in the book is as well. But one, Eric Adams is in the book. I mean, that's like pretty obvious,
yes.
So the borough president, who's the borough president, and so he's running for mayor right now, right? So he's running for mayor. And we could literally have like a city where we're talking about, a vegan city, or he doesn't even really use the term vegan, but he still is vegan. To your point, earlier. So he's plant-based, and that would be pretty huge. Also, Kez Ezekiel is also in the book, and this is a Black trans man, and it's important to kind of open up those concepts and those conversations. Some people might, be bothered that the person's in the book. But like I told people before, I'm unapologetically Black and unapologetically Omowale. And what that means is, like, I'm going to take stronger stance than you're going to take overall at the end of the day. It's to make Black people feel comfortable. We say this thing about, we want Black people. We talk Black people. We never say we want Black cisgendered people. We never say we want Black heterosexual. We never say that. But if we mean that, we talking some bullshit. pardon me for saying that. I curse a lot on my podcast.
Well, in Buddhism, that's a sense of expression. I appreciate it.
So we and a lot of times when we see it, we don't usually even bring up like disabled folks. We don't bring them up, but we mean, Black people in general. So there's elders in there, there's people with disabilities, mental or physical disabilities as well. You gotta read the book to really understand that concept. And so with this particular piece, when we talk about liberation, we talk about liberation for all. Because if you don't have liberation for all folks, then really it's just fake. And then to break that down, because people feel like, well, we're not locked up anymore. And people feel like, well, we could get ourselves free from the dollar. You know what I mean? There's rich folks that still be complaining that they deal with racism. You know what I'm saying? Like, all the time. So we got to consider that as well. So we also talk about mental illness. Stuart Mitchell, talks about that concept. A brother was saying, Kimatni, about fatherhood. We talking fatherhood throughout the book from different ways, and I talk about fatherhood. Like Stuart Mitchell talks about it, but Dead Prez, I got M1 and Stickman, and one of the things we also know, M1 and Stickman come from an organizing background. I've known these brothers from early 2000, and working with Dead Prez. Matter of fact, Stickman's first book talks about my organization that I created in 2001, Grassroots Artist Movement, game. So Black VegFest ain't the first time I've been doing some work. Because when folks be talking about that, they be like, we came from 2018. Nah, there's other folks that we don't even know about that's doing work.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But if maybe we don't read, maybe the timing, maybe we ain't travel. You know what I'm saying? There's folks in particular parts of the world, like the brother who gave me my name, Omowale Adewale. Omowale, I want people to know my name. Omowale Adewale. Omowale means the son has come back home. You need to know that name because that name was given to Malcolm X. That is literally if you come out and anytime that we talk about white supremacy and we talk back, that comes back from Malcolm X. I want people to be clear about that. Be very clear. You wouldn't be talking. You walk down the street and you would be very quiet. I'm not gonna go through that history, but you would be very quiet out in the society. You know what I mean? He's the one that did that. So people need to know Omowale Adewale means the son has come back home. When I received that name in 2005, I didn't know I was gonna receive it. I wasn't looking for it. The brother just gave it to me. His name was Moyo Sore. He was murdered 2 years later. You know what I mean? He was a young brother, and when I say I was doing some international work at that time. That brother was doing bigger work than I was doing.
And a name is everything. My aunt just passed a few weeks ago, and she named me Naijha, which means bright-eyed, illuminating, and you represent your name because that's all you got is your name. So that's very important. Everything in the name. I want to talk about upcoming projects that each of you are working on because that's what we're here to bring exposure. We got Brotha Vegan, a way to purchase it. Let's talk about each of your projects that are upcoming and any final tip or messages that you want to share with the viewers. Dr. Jenkins.
Well, I'm going to reinstate the cool podcast, but it's going to be on StreamYard. I think.
Yay! StreamYard is. I've been using StreamYard since the pandemic. Naijha Speaks started. It birthed out of my contribution or contributing for Jane and Chain News, and then I just took off and did my own thing. StreamYard, I love it. I'm testing out some other platforms, but right now this is the most comfortable platform for me. Yeah, so much success.
I had to learn from my kids on that situation.
Right.
But you see this square here, minus me. I'm going to have you guys on, trying to kick it off probably next month or so.
Looking forward to it. And they can follow you at the Vegan Born on IG. I know you have a Facebook. We put that in. I only got so many characters, and you'll find that out through StreamYard. So I can only put one tag in there. So at the Vegan Born on Instagram and. Folks, you're looking for Dr. Jenkins. His Facebook is what? At Dr. Jenkins?
Kevin Jenkins. But
Kevin. Okay.
with the mask on. I'm going to change it tomorrow because I've always changed every month. So right now I have a mask on, a black suit, and the Capitol building is in the profile picture. You know, that's alluding to the VIP situation I was in during the before the Capitol riots and the inauguration. You know, that
awesome.
Was,
thank you.
Yeah.
Kamatni, what are you working on during this pandemic? Because, you know, a lot of things can't happen. Vegan Soul Fest hasn't happened. I'm sure Black VegFest, you know what I'm saying? So what are you doing during this pandemic?
I did a lot of things because I have another company too. So, for example, we created 2 internships with Howard University and University in the automotive industry. That's the other industry. I'm an automotive journalist by trade for 20 years. So, helping these HBCU students, you know, receive more resources and pathways into the business world. I launched my poetry site, KimatniRawlings.com. I've been a poet for over 30 years. That was something I always wanted to do. I just had hundreds of poems stacked up, and the pandemic hit. And I was like, if I don't do it now, I'm never going to do it. And that, you know, the pandemic has kind of showed like who are the innovators, who are the thought provokers and outliers, because, you know, that gave us the time to really kick off the projects that we had in the peripheral. Right. So, and then, of course, you know, Fit Fathers, we're working on the 8th annual Fit Fathers Day celebration. Woo! You, like you said, you've attended the in-person events, but we'll go virtual again like we did last year. It'll be a celebration of fatherhood through wellness and online fitness demonstrations. And the last thing I'm doing is working with our county here in Maryland to help the Black residents become more nutritionally aware. So if they do get affected by COVID-19, they will have boosted their immune system to help fight it off, you know, with the foods that do already have immune boosting properties in them, which are plant-based foods.
Awesome. I have to talk to you too, because we're planning, you know, Black Veg launched the Keep It Fresh Fest a couple years ago. Now we haven't gone virtual with Vegan Soul Fest, and we're probably not. It's just not the experience. But Keep It Fresh Fest will have a virtual fest, and you know, it's in June because of National Fresh Fruit and Vegetable Month. But definitely want to kind of tie in all of that, especially what you're doing, because you do it on that Sunday for Father's Day. So I'm going to talk more with you about that, because there'll be a lot of stuff going on in June. Definitely want to include you. Omowale.
So I would definitely want people to start following my Patreon, patreon.com. Omowale Adewale is one word. I'm doing some organizing of farmers and farmland. I got farmland you know, we purchased last year, you know, after like 8 months of, you know, trying to close on that and creating a training space.
Where is this space?
Farmers. This is in Sullivan County, New York.
Okay.
And we getting pushback from, you know, privileged white folks. You can find out more information about that, you know, online. That's going out there. We get a lot of pushback, but you know, we pushing right back. So definitely find about that. We creating a organizing space to teach farming. I have people reaching out who want to be apprentices. If they want to be apprentice, and you know, whether it be farming, whether it be training, or you just trying to learn, like how do you actually, you know, build and create, you know, support and helping people how to get, you know, thousands of people, you know, who actually want to be organized, who want to, you know, move for their liberation while still working on their dreams. You're working on your dreams. You want to be able to, you know, whether you do, I don't care what you want to do. You want to do that without anybody, you know, foot on your neck, right? At the end of the day. So we could do that at the same time, but we got to do collective building. So but I'm doing it just for my Patreons. I'm just putting it out there because those people supporting me. It's been a long time doing this work. Like this work is not like profitable. When you do organized work, it's not profitable. You know what I'm saying? Like for real. Like
you can't
get income. Forget profit. There's no profit. It's like you can't. It's no forget profit. It's not even income. So when people support me, like that really like overwhelms me. Like wow, you see my work. You know what I mean? So and I'm pretty sure everybody feel the same way when somebody
people see you all around. They think you can write $10,000 checks. Like bro, right? I mean, come on, man. You know we struggling too. Like.
Ain't that easy.
Any last final tips or words from each of you before we go? We have less than 5 minutes, and we want to get out of here. Purchase Brotha Vegan at lanternpm.org, books, Brotha Vegan. Everybody sees that there. And I put it in the comments. If you just want to go to Amazon, you can. But, shout out to Lantern Publishing for publishing this book.
Right.
Oh, one last
that's
question.
That's a liberation space. I want to be clear that that's a liberation space. So when you hear me talking about white folks and then we white, like that's, you know what I'm saying? Like that's the least of their worry. Like people who really believe that they're white allies, they're white accomplices, you know what I'm saying? The movement, they believe in liberation. Man, I had no problem with that, with you telling the truth. You know what I mean? Straight off the back. So I just want to say that if you go to omowale.org, I'm definitely going to sign it for you. You know what I mean? And while copies, exist, but only within within the 50 states. That's it.
I appreciate it. Any last messages or tips, Dr. Jenkins? And if anybody wants to answer, what's the difference between plant-based and vegan? That should be a quick response because we kind of know. I think plant-based is the old vegetarian, to be honest with you. Like they just throw so many words being thrown around. That's what I don't know. But how do you each define it?
It's semantics. You know what I'm saying? So it's just semantics.
Always semantics. I'm a person of color, Black, African American, color. I don't know what I am, but I know I'm not. So.
Yeah,
I think we do need to give an answer though. I was gonna let the brothers give an answer, but I understand where everybody comes from with that.
Less than 4 minutes.
Veganism is basically for the animals. You know, when you're doing it, as a vegan, like you could literally. So that means like, I don't wear leather. I don't wear any animal products. So basically, there's no exploitation. I don't go to circuses. I don't go to zoos. I don't go to aquariums. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm watching what I eat. If you do it, like say you make an accident, you know what I'm saying? You still vegan. That was an accident. You know what I mean? So but you shouldn't stress yourself to do that. And other vegans shouldn't stress you either. So I've been having to talk to people who've been doing this for a long time. Like that's a no-no. They wrong, not you.
My closing tip would be that age is just a number. If you stay healthy and active, you can accomplish anything. I pride in telling folk, they are shocked when I tell them how old I am. And that's because 40 plus years of being a vegetarian and 6 years being a vegan. So I started early. And so just, go for it, no matter where you are. If you're listening right now, you're like 60 years old and you said, well, it's too late for me. No, do it
exactly.
Now. And I want to say before we close, I got an idea. Can we talk all of us off camera?
Yeah, once we're over here, I want to get this before the hour ends. I had that. Let's get this when we can stay on. Kimatni.
For me, it's just to make evolutionary choices that lead to life enhancements and shy away from those that lead to life degradation. So drink more water, eat more fruits and vegetables. Try to go as brown as possible with the grains. And of course, remain devoid of animal products, including dairy. And then, lead by example. Once you make it to that state, help someone else out that you see that's struggling with their health and uplift them. And that way, collectively, we can all unify each other as a people.
And my tip is thank you for tuning in to Naijha Speaks. Please subscribe, like, comment on NaijhaSpeaks.com. This is what I'm bringing to you. Thanks again to all my supporters, and purchase that book, Brotha Vegan. Men y'all need to be educated, and these are the brothers that are bringing it to you. So again, I appreciate you taking your time to come on the show, because you could have been doing anything or everything else on this fine Sunday morning, and you chose to come and talk to me and the viewers. I appreciate it. Thanks again, everyone. Enjoy.
One love.
Stay well and safe.
Peace.